Hey.
Hello.
You know Lisa, Chris?
I know Lisa, yes.
Recognize me.
Some things are pretty obvious to even people like me who are not visual journalists. And as a word person, as a lifelong word person, I've always been handicapped in appreciating visual journalists, at least according to visual journalists. But in Luis's case, you don't need to be a great visual journalist to recognize greatness when you see it. And I recognized it in him from really the first day that we began to work together. I don't need to go on a great length to underline what we all know, which is that he's one of the really emblematic of the best things about photojournalism, and probably one of the handful of the greatest photo editors in the country. We're really lucky to have him here.
I'm just happy that I could be here for this day, but I'm sorry this day is happening. So, and we all know Luis is one of the best photo editors in the country and of all time, and led us to amazing work and believed in us and gave us freedom to do our best work, and then edited the crap out of all of it.
You will pick me up because you got stuck in a story, you're trying to figure out this word, or a phone call, and it was like intuitive. It seemed like to you, because we'd be walking around, and we'd be like, hey bro. And then we would come in, and we would go to places like, you know, that we both were familiar with. A lot of other people may not have been familiar with, but we sit down and we talk. We talk about Durham and cheese, you know, or the boys in the block, you know, and so-and-so's mother, and so-and-so's this, and it's all relative, you know, to us. But I really appreciate you sharing your news judgment, you know, and that your commitment, not just to the photojournalists, but to reporters, the editors, everybody on staff, you know. And I think the way that maybe that we can honor you is to continue that legacy, you know. And it's very deep. I will miss getting a text saying that we need to cover this, or have you thought about this, you know. And that's some of my best stories, stories that I have best memories of, or talking to a coach in Japan.
I remember when, and just personal conversations, but you know, I remember when I came back to the paper 4 years ago, I spent a lot of time in the old building because it was just good being there when I thought nobody else was there, but somebody was always there in the newsroom, and it was this guy, and I just wondered, did you ever go home? But that's, you know, what's coming through in all of this is just not your professionalism, but your humanity. And that's what we're going to miss. And I think we're also going to miss the loudest sneezes that anyone has ever heard in the newsroom. So my last words to that is, God bless you.
I would tell Mark I'm gonna have to go to the store and get some allergy medication.
I really appreciate you taking, or having the confidence in letting me work the stories along the border. I know it was tough at times, but you drove me to do my best there. Putting in long hours was easy to do when I knew you were there to back me up. I mean, there's nobody else I could call at midnight saying, I've got an edit of 300 photos, can you look at them? And by 6 in the morning, when I got up in the morning, there was an editor. You know? So for that, I'm really, really appreciative. I'm glad it was towards the end of my career, because I wouldn't have been able to experience something like that in my life, and thank you very much for that. I know you ruffled some feathers here in the office for the cause, but it was all in the name of news, because you understand that. I'm sure people here do too, know nothing about it, but I really do appreciate being a part of that, and thank you.
Thank you. You know, I love journalism. So it's gonna be very difficult, you know, after 41 years to not walk back into a newsroom. And you've heard that before from a lot of people that have left here. For me, I always thought that people would ask me, what's it to you? And I go, it's about the journalism. And all these years I've been wrong. It's about the staff and the camaraderie. And the journalism just came behind it. And I never cease to believe in the staffs that I've been able to direct. And I've been a director, photo director for 20 years. And just happened to stumble into photography. I was never a photographer, but I became a picture editor, a photo editor. And the work that the staff did here was nothing short of remarkable. The stories were so varied, and I remember even the photos. To this day, I still remember looking at Sam Houston and knowing that Lisa was putting herself into that.
That's the high school.
And Lisa went on to become one of the, you know, arguably one of the best trauma photographers in the country in 10 years. And, you know, Jerry and Bob Flynn weren't aware of their skill set. And when it's the second year we put together that first huge surge of Central American migrants into the United States, into Texas, quite frankly, at that point. And I remember Jerry, I showed it to Bob and I said, hey, there's this essay I put together. And he looked at it and Bob goes, wow, that's really good. And then Jerry walked up and Jerry said, what's that for? I said, this is a contest entry. And he goes, wow. And I think it hit him at that point that they had arrived. And the entire staff coalesced and I saw it come together. And all of a sudden the photography just rose. And we became a force first in this newsroom, you know, across the street, and then later on the national ranks. And you know, you don't do it, you know, for the awards. It's, you want the respect of your peers.